You're listening to Saturday Morning Media. And now, back to our show.
Saturday Morning Theater proudly presents The Tales of Deputy Guppy. Return with us now to the thrilling days of not too long ago, when the West was wild and the rivers in the West were even wilder. Luckily, there was one fish to maintain law and order, one fish to reel in those who dare disturb the peace and tranquility of Driftwood Gulch, one fish to stand for truth, justice, and honor in the untamed rivers of the Wild West. Deputy Guppy! Today's adventure, the Trout Village. Deputy Guppy and his best friend Ringo were on their way out to the Trout Village on the outskirts of town. They were investigating the disappearance of 100 head of sea cattle from rancher Linus Stoddard's farm.
Gee, Gup, do you really think the trout are the ones behind the rustling of the cattle?
I reckon they could be, Ringo, but I doubt it.
But what about that arrow that Linus Stoddard found on his property?
That arrow could have wound up there any number of ways.
I'm not afraid to tell you, Gup. I'm a little nervous riding right out into the Trout Village.
There ain't nothing to be worried about, Ringo. The trout I met last week was a fine fish, and I'm sure the rest of them are as well.
Well, I guess if you say so. I'm just glad we're bringing our pistols.
Now, you leave your pistol right where it is, Ringo. I don't need you getting all jumpy-like and pulling it out, and, well, you know the relationship between the trout and the town's fish is as strained as it is. We don't need a pistol going off in their village to make matters worse.
I guess you're right. I just hope we can get to the bottom of this and get back to Aunt Pike's before her flake bread cools off.
I know you, Ringo. You'll take Aunt Pike's flake bread, whether it's warm, cold, or 3 days old. As long as there's some flake bread to eat, you'll eat it.
Well, I reckon you're right, Gup. Now, I'd love to... Oh, look there. Look, we got a trout riding up on us.
So we have. Let's hold up right here. Whoa, Cactus. Whoa there, boy.
Whoa. What do we do, Gup? What do we do?
What do you mean, what do we do?
Should we draw our pistols?
No, I told you, do not draw your pistol.
Well, what are we going to do if we don't? He's getting closer.
We're going to talk to him.
Oh, talk to him?
That's right. He's my friend. Greetings there, Atsadi.
My friend Deputy Guppy. So good to see you again.
Oh, it's good to see you. This here's my pal, Ringo.
Hello.
Ringo, it is my pleasure to know you. Any friend of Guppy is a friend of mine.
Well, how do you like that?
Tell me, Guppy, what brings you and Ringo out this way?
Not good news, I'm afraid. There's a rancher on the south end of Driftwood Gulch. He has many sea cows.
I know of this fish and his ranch. He is greedy, always trying to push us trout off our land.
I guess you do know him.
Last night, 100 head of his sea cattle were taken.
This is serious. A fish's belongings should remain his, even if that fish is full of greed.
Yes, unfortunately, he found this near where his sea cattle were taken off the property.
A trout arrow.
Yes, sir. And it seems he's now under the impression that it was the rainbow trout that took his sea cattle.
This is a very serious accusation. But I know of no reason any of us would want to steal from this fish. We go out of our way to stay out of his.
Just the same, I'm wondering if you have any idea on how that arrow might have wound up on his property.
Just because it was a trout arrow on this fish's property does not mean it was the trout that fired it that was the one who stole his cattle.
I understand this, Atsadi. Do you have any idea which trout this arrow might belong to?
I do.
Well, who is it then?
It is mine.
Yours?
Yes. I fired the arrow you now hold in your hand.
Is this startling fact true? Does the arrow belong to Deputy Guppy's friend Atsadi? If it does that mean he's behind the mysterious disappearance of Linus Stoddard's 100 head of sea cattle? You'll have to tune in and find out in the next exciting episode of The Tales of Deputy Guppy!
You just listened to episode number 106 of The Tales of Deputy Guppy here on Saturday Morning Theater. This episode starred Kevin Berntson, Chris Sheets, Jim Ruel, and Grant Baciocco. Music for this episode by Dan Ring. Say kids, there's a brand new structure for your Driftwood Gulch playset that's all ready for you to download, print, color, cut, and assemble. All you gotta do is head over to SaturdayMorningTheater.com and click on the link to the free PDF in the post for this episode. This week you can build Linus Stoddard's Sea Cattle Corral. Once you build this new addition to your playset, we'd love to see a picture of it. Send a picture of your whole Driftwood Gulch Town playset to hello@SaturdayMorningMedia.com. Also, stay tuned for more buildings and figures coming with future episodes so you can build your very own Driftwood Gulch. Saturday Morning Theater is a production of Saturday Morning Media, and it's brought to you free of charge every Saturday morning. If you enjoy this show and the others available for free at SaturdayMorningMedia.com and you'd like to see them continue, there are several ways you can help us make that happen. You can tell a friend about the show. You could leave us a 5-star review on iTunes and we'll mention your name right here on the show. You can also support the show by visiting SaturdayMorningTheater.com, where you can make a donation or set up a recurring subscription. Or you can visit our store where you can buy items from your favorite Saturday Morning Media shows. Remember, your generosity helps support this show and the others from Saturday Morning Media, your source for family-friendly fun. Well, that'll do it for this week. My name is Uncle Interloper, and you've been listening to Saturday Morning Theater. See you next week for episode number 107 of The Tales of Deputy Guppy. You've been listening to Saturday Morning Media. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.